So if you remember to last Friday, we did kind of like those interactive notes where we were learning how to measure to the correct number of digits. Does that sound about right? Okay. And then just a reminder, it's every digit we know with certainty plus that one more. So we have to guess that final digit. Okay. So today we're going to practice. Let's look at number 3 together. Okay. So these are more of those graduated cylinders. Okay. So the first thing you have to do is just figure out the scale. So this is 15, this is 20, this is 25. What does each individual line represent? Okay, ones. So then, remember when we measure the cylinder, we read to the bottom of the curve. So this is 15, this is 16, this is 17. Is it at 17 quite yet? Okay. So is it definitely 16 something? Okay, so remember it's every digit we know plus one more. So I'm positive it's 16 something. And then we have to guess that final digit. So the bottom of this line, does it look like it falls halfway between the two lines? Okay, more than halfway, yes? Okay, so our guess should probably be bigger than 0.5. What are we thinking? Okay, I was thinking like 16.8, 16.9. If you wrote 16.7, is that okay too? Okay. The key is you do need to be into the tens place. So you need to have 16 point something. Okay, let's look at the next one. So again, here's 75, here's 80. So what does each individual line represent? Okay, 1. So where does the bottom of the curve look like it's going to fall at?
76.
Okay, 76. How many of you think it's exactly at 76? Okay, so we know it's at 76. How many more digits do you have to guess? Still 1. So what are we going to write? 0.0. If you think it's exactly at 76, I would do 76.0. You think it's exactly on the line. Okay, and then let's look at the third one. So here's 4, here's 5. What does each individual line represent?
41.
Do you agree? Okay, this is 4, this is 5. What does this line have to be? 0.2, right? So this is 4.2, 4.4, 4.6, 4.85. So this is 5.2, 5.4. So where do you think this one falls? Good. 5.3. How many of you think it's falling in between the 2 and the 4? Okay. How many digits are you allowed to guess? Just 1, right? So are we positive it's greater than 5? Okay. Are we sure it's even 5.3, or was the 3 a guess? The 3 is a guess, right? So this one can only be 5.3. We can't guess a second digit. Okay, so these next 3 are thermometers. Pretty much the same thing. When we read them this time, you're going to read the top of the black line. Okay. If it's curved, you'll read the top of the curve. Okay, so same strategy. If this is 60 here and this is 70 here, what does each individual line represent? Okay, 1. And so where does it look like the top of this black line reads?
68.
Okay, 68. Does it look like it's exactly 68?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's exactly 68, it's got to be 68.0. And temp will be in degrees Celsius. Okay, this one here is 0, and then this is -5. So what is this line right here? This is -1. What's this one? -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay. So this one is -1, -2. Does it look like it's in between -2 and -3 to you? Okay, so it's definitely -2 point something, right? Bless you. And then we look at the top of the black line, and we kind of have to guess, is it halfway between the -2 and the -3, or is it closer to one of those numbers? Okay, how many of you agree it looks closer to -3? Okay, so what could we maybe write for a measurement? Okay, so maybe like -2.8, 2.9, 2.7. Okay, try that third one on your own. Okay, what did you write down for this third temperature? 11? Why 0.0?
Because we told them to have something in that spot, but it looks pretty point on point 11.
Okay, how many of you see that it's like exactly at 11? Okay, so we can be certain it's at 11, and then you go one digit further. So if it's exactly at 11, we go 11.0. Okay, so for number 5, here's a ruler. And there's just 5 points on the ruler. That's what this A, B, C, D, E is. So like there's a lot of space here in this column. You don't write anything else in this column though, okay? So then we're just gonna practice measuring what's the length in centimeters and then what's the length in millimeters, okay? So on the ruler here, the big digits, so these are the centimeters, okay? And then each of these tiny little lines is a millimeter. So let's do A together. Okay. So we're gonna look at like where the arrow points for A. Okay. If this is 0 and this is 1, what is this line right here? Okay, 0.5. How many of you think A is like exactly at 0.5? Okay, so you can write like 0.5, and then we have to guess that one more digit. So like 0.50. If you don't like to write the 0, could you also just write like 0.50? Are those the same numbers? Okay, so you can format however you prefer. Okay, and then for millimeters, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 millimeters. And is it exactly on the 5? Okay, so we're gonna write 5.0 for the millimeters. All right, let's do the same thing for B. Okay. So here's the arrow for B. Okay, and then if we look, do you think B is hitting this line exactly, or is it a little bit off the line? Okay, is it exactly on the line or a little bit off? Let's make it just a slight bit off so you can see a different example. Okay. So let's say this arrow hits just right before that 3.3 line. Okay. What comes before 3.3? Okay, 3.2, and then it's almost to the 3.3, so what number would we put after the 2? How about like a 9, right? Like 3.29. Okay. And then for the millimeter one, this would be 10 millimeters. This is 20. This is 30. So this would be 31, 32, 33. So for millimeters, it would become 32.9. Okay, so I want you to try C, D, and E on your own. I'm going to circulate. So like if you need some help, call me over, and then we'll check our answers in maybe like 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. Someone tell me, what did you get for C? Okay. 5.50. Give me like a nod. Do you agree? Okay. If you did like 5.49, is that okay too? Okay. The key is here, you just have to have out to the hundredths place. So 2 numbers after the decimal. Okay. What would this be in millimeters? Okay, 55.0. Okay. Someone else tell me, what did you get for D?
7 centimeters.
Okay. How many digits do you have to have after the 7?
Like 7.0, sorry.
Good. Okay, 7.0. Okay, so for millimeters, exactly 70, so 70.0. What did we give for E? 8 point, do you say 29? 8.29? Do y'all agree with that one? Okay. What do we get for that in millimeters? Okay, 82.9? Good. Okay, do you think you could do some of those on your own? Give me like a thumbs up. Like, I think I could do this. Thumbs down is like, no way, Miss Wilcox. Okay, let's move on to the last little section. So the last section are just some triple beam balances. The way that triple beams work, do you see how like 100 is in the middle? Okay, so how many 100 is this one? 700, right? Do you see how this? So 700, and then it's 20 something. Okay, so it'll be like 720 something. So we're only measuring this line. Okay. Okay, so then this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. What do each of these tiny little lines represent? Okay, 0.1. So it's 722 point how many? Okay, is it on the 9? Is it exactly on the 9 or a little above or below? Okay, so it's 9. And then if it's exactly, what digit do we add after? Okay, so 722.90. Triple beams are in grams, so a G for grams. Okay, this next one, what's your hundreds place going to be? Okay, 200, nothing in the tenths column or the tens column, but then we look down here. If this is 0 and this is 1, what do each of these little lines represent? Okay, 0.1. So if you count, where's like this scale arrow pointing towards? Okay, in between the 5 and 6, so it's 200.5. And then is it halfway in between the 5 and 6, or a little bit more, or a little bit less? Okay, a little bit less. So what does your number have to be less than? Okay, so what number would we maybe write?
5.3.
Okay, you could do like the 3, a 4 is fine. I wrote 4 too quick. But if you did 200.53, that's good. 200.54 is fine as well.